Haha.
Little traveling music. Sam. This could be Lamont Young and the Theater of Eternal Music. But this is my groove.
Hey!
So it goes. A work in progress. I played that last time, but I'm so into this groove, and I keep writing little parts for it. This is titled Unforgiven, at least right now. And anyway, it's Thursday. I'm coming late. Caroline had a really big Zoom call, and it had to be done here in the front room. And she's about to embark on a terrific new project. And I can't reveal too much about it because I don't know anymore about it, but by request, I am to please, yes. There she goes. So, well, what can I say? It's Thursday, unbelievable. And today, according to something I just saw in the deli, maybe it's in the paper already, July 1st, everything is supposedly going back to normal here in New York by imperial fiat of de Blasio, Bill de Blasio. And I'd be surprised to see if things really just clank back smoothly into gear then. There's bound to be a few glitches, especially with the virus being so prevalent still. But I guess the fact that so many people in New York have been vaccinated, at this point they figure that we're all good to go. But we shall see. I've been more or less, though, preoccupied with other stuff besides working on music. And that, just to draw your attention once again, my friend Jason Candler, who is a dear friend of mine, and we go, I mentioned this before, we go back into the mid-'80s when I still held a day job, which I did up till 1990. And but I used to play hooky after lunch. This was CBS Records back in the day, folks. I mean, I guess not everybody could pull this off, but I was on a floor of creative types, and so people were always coming and going, and they weren't so militant. I mean, as far as checking up on your whereabouts, as long as the job got done. So I could do that job. It was child's play, honestly. Kind of boring, but anyway, it was a good job. As long, I mean, for what it was. But I just got the bug to begin playing out, and I met some folks on WNYU. They had a great alternative music show in the afternoon called the New Afternoon Show, and I made a lot of friends there. Most of which, went on to do various things in music biz or education. And they're still friends, thank God. But Jason just turned up. I think he was an undergraduate. Anyway, I got shoved into a room with one effects pedal. I think it's that one right there. I don't know. It's been cannibalized a few times. The Boss PS2. That was really the first pedal I got to explore. They don't make it anymore, unfortunately. You can find them probably on, on eBay or, reverb.com. But they're going for a fair amount of money these days. Anyway, I went down there with my Stratocaster and just was ripping it up. I was just playing improv. I think I was big on Frank Zappa's King Kong at that point. I had a nice arrangement worked out where I could accompany myself. And Jason just turned up in a totally zen posture, like sitting cross-legged on the floor, blissing out to the sounds I was making in there, and that's how we bonded. And he was a really, really positive energy guy, and he was doing a blues show there too, which I believe I visited and played on acoustically. And so we became close friends, and he came to a lot of my early gigs at the old Knitting Factory, which was then on Houston and Mulberry Street, more or less a storefront, up on the second floor with a bar that you would step down to go into the bar, and then you go upstairs. and that is the scene I emerged out of, thanks to the Knitting Factory back in the day. And about 94, 95, I was looking to expand Gods and Monsters lineup, and I thought it'd be great to have Jason come in on sax, which he just really started to apply himself to learning, and he made amazing progress very rapidly and became a very reliable player, and I took him, and it was originally me with Jonathan Cain back in the old days. Well, the whole history of Gods and Monsters I'll save for another show, but at that point it was me, Ernie Brooks on bass, Jonathan Cain on drums from the Swans, Ernie from the Modern Lovers and the Necessaries, and Jason. And he fit right in, and I took more or less this lineup with the actual substitution of Billy Ficca about 2000 for Jonathan all over the place. We had gigs in, let me see, we played in Australia. That was like the last big road trip, and that was doing a Tim and Jeff Buckley tribute. That was the house band, actually, but we had a different drummer. Jordan Shapiro was in then. I took them to Holland to play the Holland Festival. We played at the Salzkammergut Festival in Austria, very close to Salzburg, up on a mountain. We played a couple of gigs in Holland, Utrecht, and in Amsterdam at the Milky Way, South by Southwest. Russia, that was probably the most exotic trip, thanks to Sasha Shaparukin, who booked a lot of interesting ensembles that you wouldn't normally associate with touring in Russia, but there we were, and had some great concerts and a lot of fun in St. Petersburg and Moscow. I actually wound up playing there about 7 times, basically solo, once with the Future Sound of London, aka Amorphous Androgynous. But this Gods and Monsters trip, we have a lot of great stories and memories, and Jerry Harrison was in the lineup at that point, so it was Jerry, Jason, Billy, and Ernie. This was like the kind of the supergroup lineup, and we did well. I'd love to go back there if things if things loosen up, as Randy Newman would say. We'll see. Right now, it seems a very fraught situation geopolitically, and it's unfortunate. But the Russian people were very, very warm. Always, every time I played there, and I don't think the communism or capitalism and war of ideologies came up at all on the trip, but we definitely played some memorable shows. And anyway, Jason recently had a couple of strokes out of nowhere. There's no precedent for this. It just came upon him, and it's been very, very hard on everybody who knew him, because he was such a sweet guy, high energy, positive guy. And, for a catastrophic illness to suddenly, enter your life is just a terrifying prospect, and he's in a doubly fraught position because he has an 18-month-old son, Jacob, and a lovely Chinese wife, Lily, of 4 or 5 years now, I think. They've been together. So I've been doing my best to fundraise for his medical expenses, which I think the first round of coverage kicked in as far as paying for a serious operation after the second stroke. And he's now in a pretty good post-op phase. I say pretty good because the first time I saw him, which was shortly after the surgery, he was just understandably out of it and in a fog. And he's coming back strong. He's got a great life force. And he's talking a lot. when he's not sleeping now, and it's very encouraging. But the fact is, he's going to be experiencing. I mean, that family will be experiencing severe economic pain for a while, just until he can get back on his feet and resume work. And he's had a lot of success working at the United Nations. And with my friend Phil Mango brought him in there doing audiovisual meetings, setting up for diplomats to argue amongst themselves or in the public eye loudly. And hopefully he'll be able to resume that when he can be fully operational. But that's the question. No one seems to know. The hospital can't give any definite dates or answers, so this is just an ongoing situation. And thanks to you guys who kicked in, there's now like over $32,000 collected for him in about 12 days, which is astonishing. And I want to thank everybody, and I'd personally get in there and thank everybody, but I'm going to leave the personal thank yous to Jason and Lily when they can really do this. I update it every day to try and give an accurate picture of what's going on. So all I was saying is, I know you didn't know him, most of you are watching this, but maybe, you might keep him in your thoughts, because I really would love to see him back playing again, ultimately, and, resume his day-to-day life, and hopefully with everyone's help, this is a reality that can be made possible. So I don't want to totally bum everybody out here, but that's what's been on my mind a lot. And also, I want to thank Amazon.com for delivering this book about the fall. It's a new book, and as I mentioned, they were, for some years there, my favorite band. I used to go to Bleak Kebabs semi-religiously to pick up their new singles. They put a lot of great singles out, and I followed them for a long, long time. And there was actually a move there with Mark Smith and Craig Scanlon to approach me about playing with them, but I don't know, I couldn't really walk the walk as far as alcohol consumption. I mean, I'm casting no moral aspersion on people who enjoy drinking. I mean, God knows it's a pastime enjoyed by the multitudes, but for me, it was never much of a pleasure or a thrill. And so I'm an abstemious sort. I'm certainly now, the biggest thrill I get is dulce de leche. I just had another jar of it delivered here. Again, thanks to Amazon, not too expensive on the internet, folks, but all the way from Buenos Aires, actual great Havana brand dulce de leche. So yeah, I'm only in it for the food at this point. The drink is secondary. Although, I'll tell you, if I was in Italy now, I wouldn't mind a good limoncello. I love those sweet liqueurs. I've always had a sweet tooth, and so I like to taste after dinner sweet liqueurs. That's about it. And I've still got a few minutes here. I don't know. I could go back to that loop, but I think I'll save that for a rainy day. Not much else to relate. I hope everybody is doing well. I'm working hard on new music. I have all sorts of stuff in the works, which, again, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to jinx these projects. One of them, I was begging my partner to post a track because I'm so excited by this music we created, and he's begged me to hold off, and he's probably right. There is a school of thought that you should put everything out there, even works in progress, but sometimes the shock of the new provides a good impetus for forward motion on these things, and God knows I've put a lot of projects out. So that's about it mic is crapped out for the moment, but I hope you could still hear me loud and clear. And as ever, I'll be playing for you on Saturday. And keep the PayPal tips coming in. You know, after you take care of Jason, think of me, please. Or I'm going behind a paywall very soon. Okay, bye-bye now.